Hello, 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 everybody. Today we're going to get to chat with Lesley, former, as she puts it, former Miss Corporate, Lesley from Liverpool, and now serial entrepreneur that is doing exceptionally well. Facebook Ads MBA Program grad, and just awesome person. Lesley, nice to see you. How you doing?
I'm fantastic, as usual.
Yeah, good. I think I got that right. You're from Liverpool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The Liverpool Manchester thing. I want to make sure I got it right.
I'm living in Manchester, so people from Manchester call me a Scouser. People from Manchester call me a Scouser. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, tell people a little bit about yourself and where you're coming from, and just who are you?
Okay, so you said I was Mrs. Corporate.
Yeah, that's what you said. So
yeah. So without going into all the real dirty weeds that we really don't need to know, I guess I grew up in the age before the internet. I know I don't look that old. I'm very kind, I eat all the right stuff. But so I guess starting an online business wasn't really a possibility back then. So my kind of sights were set on having a corporate job and doing well and being successful at that and striving to achieve that, be on the board of a big company and all of that. So did my degree, did my MBA, followed the normal kind of path, got to do, quite a senior job at a FTSE 100 company. So got to be successful in that context. But then my personal circumstances changed for all kinds of reasons, again, that I won't go into. I had a very deeply personal experience that just meant I had to reevaluate my life. And I thought, I don't want to be at someone else's beck and call anymore. I don't want to be working 80-hour weeks. I don't want to be permanently on a train, on a plane, or in a car. And what do? So I decided to jack it in and start my own business, which originally was a B2B business, making gluten-free puddings, which I think is around about the time I spoke to you. I'd been doing that for a couple of years. And that was actually going quite well until COVID hit. We'll just call it the C word, yeah? And because I was B2B, those businesses effectively closed, lockdown, blah, blah. So I thought what I need to do is put my stuff online, on my retail units, put them online. And so I kind of quite hastily and on reflection, didn't really think through what an online business was. I was a sales director for, a very large company. So I kind of felt I knew all about sales. But I'd never sold online before. It's a very different beast. And so got somebody to do my website kind of quite cheaply, I think, and thought, right, how do I sell these products I know? I've got to do Facebook advertising because that's what you do, but I don't know anything about Facebook advertising. I need to get someone who knows about Facebook advertising. So I obviously went to and spoke to a couple of agencies, and I got the whole, we've done this 1,200 million ROAS for this company, and we can do the same for you. The normal stuff. Yeah. One of this. So being kind of really inexperienced and spectacularly naive when I look back. So yeah, okay, went with one company. They did really badly. And when I kind of look back, on reflection, they weren't deliberately misleading. They weren't deliberately conning or scamming me. They just didn't know what they were doing. So they kind of took my money, and I thought, you know what, I can do a better job than this. So I am. So sacked them off, and again went and did what any normal person would do, did some research on how to do them myself. So Facebook blueprint, went on YouTube, went on Google, the things you'd expect, did a bit of research and thought, I'm going to do this myself. And just didn't get anywhere. And so I had the Facebook marketing people. Yay, spend more money, don't do this, audiences, blah, blah. So again, spend more money and got nothing in return. And like that, what am I doing wrong? And that's when I kind of, I can't remember where I first saw one of your posts. I think I then kind of started to get into Twitter and maybe YouTube. And I've seen a couple of people posting about what to do. So I'm looking and I'm trying to investigate, how do I get this to work? Because I don't understand why it's not working for me. People are saying they're doing this, and when I do it, it doesn't work for me. And I saw one of your, I think, I can't remember, there's a Twitter or YouTube about Black Friday deals. And I thought, I'm going to give it a go because I've got nothing to lose. So I followed some of the suggestions you'd made about how to approach sales. So it was more than just Facebook ads. So about structuring your site and how to bundle things and some other bits and bobs that you'd covered. And actually, it did really well. And I thought, hey, I think he actually might know what he's talking about this time.
Maybe we'll see. Maybe.
So having had my fingers burnt, I thought I'm just gonna, look around, just make sure I know what I'm doing. And I guess my experience of having worked with an agency, having tried to do it myself, I thought I do need to learn from somebody because I want to do it myself, but I really want to learn properly. And that's when I kind of explored the MBA program. Having already done an MBA, I thought, well, okay, you say it's the MBA, but let's have a look at what's on offer here. Because we all know there's lots of courses for $100. You can earn 10 million quid in your first 3 months if you buy my course.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Why couldn't you get 100,000x return on your investment?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, this is what I'm thinking. So I thought, well, I've seen all the courses. Let me just explore, what this is about. And so I kind of followed you a bit more detail, looked at all your posts, looked across everything. And I was looking at a couple of other things as well. But I think that's when I arranged, went on, you were doing some kind of free webinar.
Oh, yeah. I do like a monthly webinar. Yeah,
that's right. And it kind of what you said was entirely logical and made sense. I was like, okay, I need to have a chat. So when I had a more detailed chat with you and found out exactly what was involved, I thought this does sound like something that's much more structured. There's actually some meat to this. It's actually a proper course. It's not somebody sending me a couple of emails or a couple of sheets, or how you get these things that are PDFs and they're 25 pages, but the typeface is like this big. So
So and it's the same information that you get from 14 other people or 1,000 other people.
Yeah,
and it's
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, this helped me 2 years ago. Like, is it still relevant? What if I have a question? Is that person going to answer? And the answer is no.
Yeah. And they've written that 5 years ago or whatever it might be. So I was like, okay, this looks like proper, there is proper structure to it and it's well thought out and you clearly know what you're talking about. So I thought, okay, let's jump in. So what I was expecting was to have the resources, because obviously, you teach yourself a lot of this stuff is online. So you get all the resources. You can pretty much, because I didn't remember asking you quite a lot of detail about how long it would take, how quickly could I do it, all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You can go at your own pace. So what I expected was all these online resources, plus I knew I had, coaching with you, one-to-one coaching with you. So I kind of expected all that. I thought I can deal with all of that. And if there's questions, I can, I'm more than capable of reading through stuff myself and actioning stuff myself. But I think what I got was actually a lot more than that, Charlie. What I got was I was not expecting the community you've talked about. So you talked about joining a Facebook group. And I thought, well, I've joined other Facebook groups and so what? But it is a proper community of people. Yeah. Us Northern women, we say it how it is, Charlie. We do.
And I love it. You and I have been laughing through all of our one-on-ones most of the time.
Yeah. We did. Yeah. So I wasn't expecting the Facebook community to be how it was, and that I'll be quite honest with you up there. So you have, as separate to my one-to-ones and separate to everything you did individually with me, there's this weekly call that everybody who wants to can jump on and can ask their questions that they've got that week. So, and it's a real opportunity to learn from other people's questions because they're further down the journey from you. So I wasn't really expecting that. So I wasn't expecting that community. And the other thing I wasn't expecting is stuff that wasn't specifically Facebook ads related, if that makes sense. Because I know the technicalities of setting up a Facebook ad, because they teach you with that on Blueprint. What I didn't understand was how to get it to work. But more fundamentally for me, I didn't really understand the nuances of e-business either, e-commerce. So I had a whole different layer of learning going on as well. So I've learned so much more about e-com, and some of that's come from you and your experiences, but also other people in the group. So, for example, somebody put in about shipping and returns, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, okay, so I could give an answer on that. So, yeah, because we've all got different experiences in that group. The other thing I really liked and worked really well for me was the course content. It covers everybody, no matter what their age range. I, as you can tell, I'm a little bit older than 20. So I'm not a 20-year-old. I'm going to, get the world and I'm going to do $1 billion. And I'm not that person out on their first journey anymore. I'm a little bit older than that. But also there's people on the course who are significantly more experienced in doing this than me. So I'd come into it and I said, just talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old, talk to me like I don't know anything. And if you explain it in words of one syllable, I will get it, I'll understand it, I'll be able to implement it. So I think that's also quite good. You've been really, really patient in explaining when people have asked questions that are maybe quite basic because they're new to the program, explaining that question, but also some that are highly technical and detailed for people who are much further down the journey, but they still want to ask you. So I think I found that very valuable as well. In terms of the course content, one of the other things I might have mentioned to you that I really liked was the variety of formats that the training comes in.
Yeah, we have like the written stuff, there's lectures, there's video walkthroughs, screen shares, one-on-one group classes. I even just recently, last week, we just added these like handbook things. So they're now like basically you can read effectively what the lectures are, and it includes FAQs. So I mean, I'm very, very visually orientated, so I need to kind of see it. If I see a diagram, that's it, I understand it. If I see the diagram, I remember it. So other people, you're quite scientific in how you process stuff. So I like the fact that you talk through everything. You have a video and you talk through it all step by step. You can't go wrong. But then you've got the stuff that you've loaded up, but then you've also got the very dynamic stuff. So you've also got stuff that's been done a week ago and that is continually updated with new experiences from maybe other people who've asked other questions. So, and then, you've got all the documentation. It's like, it's like you don't even have to invent a spreadsheet. It's like the best spreadsheet you could use for this thing is here. You don't even have to. So all of the documentation is there that you need as well. And I think I just found that, really, really helpful, because there's nothing to stop you starting on day one. If you've got a business, there's literally nothing to stop you reading through and implementing as you go through in your business. So I think when I started my business, it wasn't going brilliantly for all the reasons about the C word, etc. And I thought, there's another business that I want to start, which isn't food related. It's an accessories business. So completely and utterly different. And I want to make sure I get this right from the get-go. So if I start this course now, I'm going to practice on my existing business with the intention of eventually closing that for all kinds of reasons, and focusing on this other one. So what I wasn't expecting is when I started to implement some of the things that it would go really well. It's like, I didn't expect to get more sales. I didn't, I expected to implement it and learn about how to implement it. I kind of didn't expect to actually see some results, which I did do. Do you remember I was saying to you, I've had a light bulb moment. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it would be like every couple of weeks, just like another thing. And it's just another level up. And that, like, what I loved is, from what I remember in our notes and our chats, because I also keep like notes on everybody to make sure that I remember what's going on and be really help and kind of project manage your way through it, was that like, you're like, I want to just try this on this thing. And like unintentionally, your old business you wanted to get rid of was starting to become mildly successful. And you're like, this wasn't the plan, but I mean, okay, this is not a bad thing.
It wasn't the plan. It wasn't a bad thing. No, it wasn't the plan. So my original goal was, let's just make sure I go through everything and know what I'm doing. So I'll finish the course, and going on the weekly calls. Don't particularly have any questions because I'm going to wait till my new. I'm in the process of launching my brand new business, but it's been really interesting to hear other people's challenges, and also where they drop things in the Facebook group and they say, "Oh, I've learned, I've got this and I've got that, and there's a screenshot of this," and you can say, "Wow, that's going to be so helpful for me." Maybe not necessarily in the business that I want to close, but in the one that in my new business, because it's just a completely different structure. So yeah, I've found it really helpful, and I think the difference is I kind of feel as though I've got control and I know what I'm doing. So with my new business launch, I'm very confident, with what I'm doing, and that it's going to work, and that it's repeatable and scalable. Because that's the business model, it's repeatable and scalable. So I don't know if the system's repeatable and scalable. So yeah, I'm supremely confident.
And that's kind of what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
And then something you've been mentioning too, but I think is sort of an outlier in people's experience, is that we can continue to have these conversations well after like the time frame of the program. Like you were done months ago and you showed up on like Thursday.
Yeah.
Like this is a lifetime access to something. There's no monthly feed, everything. There's no like taxes to keep coming back. It's when you're in, you're in. And I always tell people, like, I've gone through programs where then the person in their infinite wisdom charges you $1,000 a month to stick around or something like that. And so I just made my own little group and brought everybody from the program into my little group. Like, well, fuck them. Let's just chat. And I was just like, well, let's just do that. Like, why? You already made a significant investment. Why not just carry that through and stick around? Because to your point, having all those people that are ahead of you really helps you learn. And to the counterpoint of that too, when you're ahead of other people and you can explain it and talk to them, I think you get a lot out of that also. Just like, oh, I already know they consider that. And then that's got to feel great to know, like, oh yeah, no, I'm good. I could hire somebody and give them that answer if I wanted to. I can do this. And I think that's for the confidence, that's just got to feel amazing. Plus that investment is a lifetime one.
Yeah. So again, that's something that I hadn't expected. And other people in the group are just spectacularly helpful. So people again who are more experienced, or that there is people in there who are agency owners, or who just run Facebook ads and with all of this kind of thing. There's a real mix of people in there. You've got people like me who are D2C brand owners, so, and everything in between. So people are so helpful, and people are setting up other things as well. Oh, there's like a group Discord group talking about this type of ad, and there's this, and so again, that's something I hadn't really anticipated, but it's fantastic. Yeah,
and it's weird too. Like I had a couple members of my house actually this weekend, just because there was like a triple whale thing. We went to a Dodgers game, and we had a good time. And apparently, like, there's this extra Tuesday group where everybody gets together and chats. There's like this WhatsApp group for like European like agency owners that, like, I guess Gulfham has put together. But Jared and Tom and Kelvin are doing this whole other thing. Like, the fact that there's all these little sub communities where everybody's dissecting everything, and they're making video walkthroughs of everything else, step by step, deep dives into everybody's accounts and sharing it all. Like,
that's what I'm saying. They have these little side things, but they post what they found or what they discussed. So you can just benefit from it. It's great.
It's excellent. We gotta get you into the Tuesday group, I guess. Like, I didn't even know it existed, and then also like, and Jared was like, "Oh no, we've got like 30 to 45 minute long like recorded calls of deep diving every single thing in here." Like,
I'm in there.
Like, these are like moments. They pulled in Charles, the real estate guy from Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah.
And they sat on a camera and made him read something because he had just like kind of glossed over it. And about 5-6 minutes into it, like they saw the light bulb go off. And that's the problem I've been having forever. That's the solution. Like, I love the fact that everybody in there is so just, I think when you eliminate the opportunity for there to be, people aren't in that community trying to sell folks. There's no post in that community of like, I got a 10x ROAS. Here's how I did it.
No.
Right. And there's nobody in there saying like, oh, it's not working for me today. Is it not working for anybody else? And I'm like, yeah, like you don't learn anything from that. Instead, it's, I'm struggling with this thing. And then you get like 40 comments of like, this is everything to do. Here's a Loom video on it. Here's another side chat. Here's how the fact that everybody's so giving because you all are speaking the same language, right? Like, and what I mean by that is everybody's using the same documents, the same systems, the same process. And everybody's business is a little bit different. So your application is a little bit different. But the fact that you are all, I don't know, Jared was like, there's something in the way that it all works that like it's all this somehow has been curated to just these wonderful people that are there and just so giving. And there's dozens of them from around the world.
Yeah. So I think, if you're helpful for someone and they're going to be helpful back. Do you know what I mean? So this is the thing. If someone helps you, you make sure you can help them back, don't you? So there's reciprocity, I guess. But
there's sort of that social contract. I think people genuinely enjoy it.
People do, yeah.
And I think there's something too, like if you've been in a place where you were struggling, like if you were in a place where Facebook ads didn't work and it took hours every day, and now you're in a spot of like, oh, I spend like 3 hours a week on this thing. It's crushing. I feel super confident. I'm building another business. I'm living a life. And then somebody asks a question, you have the answer for it. Like I've seen people get excited because they're like, oh, no, I got you. Check this out. And like they can own that and help other people. And I mean, I love seeing it. Half the time, I make a point of responding to every question and every
you do, yeah, you do, yeah.
Which, sometimes I have to set some time aside and just make sure I go through everything. And half the time when I'm there, I'm like, oh, no, Lesley already got it, or Tom already got it, or Kelvin already got it, or Denise already got it. Like, I agree with them. Let me know if you have any other questions. Like, it's amazing. Yeah. So I'm curious, like, how does it feel now? Like, what is it like now? Like, what is the day-to-day for you and Facebook ads and in business management? Like, how are you taking this stuff and moving forward with it? How has that changed from where you were before? Like, you used to have to hire agencies and all of this other stuff. So in that realm, I guess the question is just like, it used to be hard. You used to not trust it. You used to have to hire people who weren't good. Now we're in a different place. What is that different place like?
Yeah. So if I think about when I was not so much the agency, but I guess running a little bit blind and doing it myself, it was so stressful. It's just like, I've got to check it and I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And oh my God, I've got to do more and I've got to get more ads and I've got to, it was like, it was a continuous, it was like I was the hamster on that little wheel. And that's in addition to doing everything else around running a business. Right. So that was just the one thing, and it just became enormous. Just, and it just gets like, oh no, I've got to do it again. And then I can do it tomorrow. And that was just terrible. It's just a terrible feeling to be chasing, to feel as though you're chasing your tail to try and keep on top of it. Whereas now I've, set up everything I need to start with my testing for my new business. Everything else I can just like leave ticking over because I know where I am. And because I know what I'm planning, it actually doesn't take that much to plan for next month. So I've kind of got first 2 months kind of sorted already. And I know that doing month 3, month 4 is actually, notwithstanding the fact you've got Christmas, let's say just Christmas, let's just say, and Black Friday. So, hey, I know what I'm doing with Black Friday now, yeah? So, but, I'm actually quite organized already, and it's significantly easier because I don't have to go in on a weekly or daily basis and tamper with stuff and change stuff and panic about stuff and say, oh God, the cost per clicks, oh my God, that's terrible. What do I do about it? I don't need to do that. So knowing how you can have all your information organized in a kind of cogent way, in a cohesive way, that makes it really easy to follow, that you don't have to go in and tinker with it. You're strategic about what you do. And I had none of that strategic insight before. So I've got that now. So I just feel infinitely more confident, but I also know, doesn't matter what's going on in the other part of my new business, if you like, it won't take that much to manage this bit. In the worst case scenario, it won't take anywhere near as much to manage that business because I know what I'm doing. And it's saying it's easy. It's simple. Yeah.
I'll take that because it's not necessarily easy, but it is simple. And you've got an army of people behind you to help you. Whenever you fall down, they'll pick you up and
So it's straightforward and it's kind of quite logical. And the thing is, there's a system and a process, so I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I take what's there and I apply it for what's relevant to me. But actually, it's quite, like I say, the process is straightforward. It took me a while to just kind of get my head around some of the stuff. Just get my head around it.
Sometimes it's a little bit different than what everybody's taught you.
What I've done before. It's different from what I've been told. And some of it also feels a little bit counterintuitive to what you've been told. And it's not necessarily how my brain naturally processes information. But it's like, oh, okay. But one, light bulb moment's like, oh yeah, I'm okay with this now. So you've got the documentation, when you've got to fill it in, what you've got to check on it, when you need to change stuff. And if you do need to change stuff, how you need to change stuff. You know what to do about your ads, what to do about when you need to change creative, how you approach it. So again, that was quite a big insight, just the whole how you approach the creative and the concepts and this notion that you're out to do the targeting. That was a bit of an eye-opener.
Yeah.
And when the penny drops, what that means, that the door's wide open, for actually I can do this now. And it made for me personally, having had a very solid sales and marketing background, I thought, actually, this is a bit of a different approach. That just made all of that piece so much easier for me. Yeah, it's kind of crystallized what I need to do. So I found that really, really helpful. Yeah. So where I was to where I am now, I feel confident. I feel confident in what I'm doing. I feel organized. I just was like, before chasing. Yeah. I was literally me every morning when I got up.
You're like, what do I got to do to not kill myself today?
Yeah.
And now you said, like, what the next month looks like. You got 2-3 months planned out, like.
But also I can interpret the data in a more meaningful way and not have those knee-jerk reactions that I think it's quite easy to have knee-jerk reactions on a daily basis. It's like,
the panic. Like, I don't even look at Facebook ads half the time. Like, days will go by and I'm spending $30, $40, $50, $100,000. Or if I'm spending 50, I don't even look. Because it's like, there's an old saying, if you hang out in a barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut.
Yeah.
And the idea is just like, I already have a plan. Like, this is one piece of my business. I'm going to go do real important things. Like, I don't need to be stressed out every day. I know my next 3 moves are. I know what my next 3 months looks like.
Yeah, well, that's it. So I feel significantly less stress about it. So in fact, if I'm perfectly honest, I don't feel stressed about it.
There you go. I love it. It's not even less stress. It's just, I don't have stress.
I don't feel any stress about it.
From somebody who is
a pretty big thing.
From somebody that was, Miss Corporate, getting into Facebook ads, not knowing at all what you need to do, but trying to do all the work, it not working. Yeah. Then you hired an agency or 2 or 3 or whatever, and like they weren't disingenuous, but they also weren't any good.
No.
And now you're in a spot of like, oh, I don't even care anymore. Like, I've got it handled. Like, it's just like brushing my teeth. I got to walk the dog. I got to like do the dishes. I got to check the Facebook thing. Like, it's the same level of stress as having to take out the trash.
Yeah. But I also know if I hit a problem, then I know, there's always a way of getting it resolved. I've not been cast adrift. And I think, we both talked about doing our degrees and things like this. Not everyone goes down that route, but you do a degree, you do an MBA, the minute you walk out the door with your certificate, they have cut you adrift. Even if they've gotten you an alumni or anything like that, it doesn't really matter. For the most part, you get a qualification and you kind of pretty much cut adrift. Unless you've said you're paying to subscribe to something.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, the implementation of it's the important bit. So I know that I'm covered on that. If there's a problem, you know, there's somewhere to go. I know I can ask, and I know I'll get an answer, and I know I'll get it resolved. So again, that's another source of stress. You know, if you think, what if I have a problem and I can't deal with it? I know I haven't got that problem. So that particular source of stress, potential source of stress, is gone too.
That's awesome. I love to hear that stuff. I love to know that like, because that's ultimately the goal, right? Like I say people all the time, it's more success and less stress. Like that's the real idea. And it was interesting. I was out at a brunch yesterday with a bunch of folks from Triple Whale.
Oh yeah.
And they were asking like, how you doing, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I was like, oh, you know, it's pretty good, you know, and I'm just trying to get folks, you know, this and that. I'm teaching people, you know, because some folks like, they don't realize that if you're spending more than 3 hours a week on your Facebook ads, like you are doing way too much work. And like everybody just kind of like scoffs. And then Jared was there with this. He's like, oh yeah, I can take like 9 clients and still go surfing 4 hours a day. And you're like, how are you like, there's this complete shift.
I can imagine him saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. It was great. And Jared was talking about how like he runs an agency and he's just like, yeah, you know, if the surf is up, I will, if I have a meeting that day, I decline and send the surf report and nobody has a problem with it because and because of all the documentation, all the clients get all the answers they need, right? Like they know the Scrum Doc, they know the ecosystem ROAS, they're measuring the results on Facebook. They can see the incremental lift. They know what tests are coming up. They know what tests are currently running. They know why things are happening. They know who's accountable for what. They know delivery dates. They know like, there's not really a need to have much communication other than like, cool, what's the plan for next month or 90 days from now? Once you're aligned on that, like nobody cares. And you know, he's got a new puppy who's also doing great. And like, it was fantastic. It was fascinating to see these other like big spender folks just looking around, just like, you can't do that. And I'm like, no, you absolutely can. Like it's 100% possible.
Yeah.
And I love it because he, like you, came from a space of like, I mean, he was a graphic designer. Like and now he's running an agency of like spending, you know, ungodly amounts of money for other people. Like, I love that I love how many of you folks come in where Facebook is not the thing that you're good at, but it's the thing you know that you probably need.
Yeah.
And you've reached out to other people that, even in their best efforts, have let you down. And this incredible point of stress and like this thing that like feels confusing and stressful and illogical and just something where you feel like this will never work for me. It's a scam, whatever it is, right? Now it's something that, like you said, you don't even feel stressed about it. You know what the next few months look like. And I mean, you're on your second biz since we started on this thing. Like that's, I know so many people are just like wishing they could even get out of that corporate thing. And the idea is like, if I figure this out, I'll be good. And you're on number 2 and you don't even worry about it anymore.
Yeah. It's interesting how you could do this with a full-time job. I've never really thought about it like that before, but you could, couldn't you? You could easily set up your own business whilst working full time and do this and kind of ease yourself out of one and ease yourself into another. Because obviously everyone's got different circumstances, haven't they? I think, you know, specifically financially and commitments and all of this. So easing yourself out of the corporate and easing yourself into being your own boss.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. And I think I've always been my own boss.
Yeah, well, you just got that in your blood, I think, a little bit, you know? I think,
well, yeah, it's funny you should say that because on my mum's side of the family, all the women have always run their own businesses. Isn't that weird? Yeah.
That is weird. That's great. My wife owns a business. I'm all about it. I love it.
Yeah, but, you know, I've never really liked taking authority. I've never really liked authorities. I've never liked taking order. So I think deep down, you know, I've always been an entrepreneur. Just went about it the very circuitous route. Yeah. definitely.
And like, so in that path of like that person that's doing that full-time thing, like the level of effort that it took for you, like theoretically, if you were working a full-time job, do you think you could have done all of this stuff through the MBA program and set up the side business and just kind of work your way through it? Like,
oh yeah,
I feel like that's a path.
You could, because I started my first business whilst I was working, whilst I was doing a full-time job, and just kind of timed it right to leave. So had I known about this at the time, or rather, if I'd known how difficult it was to get it to work and known about this, I would have done this early. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Oh, of course, right? It's always 2020, right? Or
yeah,
a little fuzzy because my memory's kind of shot.
Yeah. So yeah, hindsight's a wonderful thing. I think you could do. Yeah, I think I've never thought about it before, but it's a really good point. You could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem.
Because we do have, I'll be honest, we do have more folks that are kind of doing that. We're like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, and like they're working a full-time job, or they're working like a couple part-time jobs. One of a woman out of Canada, she joined very early in the program, and that's what she was doing. She was a nurse, like in a hospital during the C word, and like she was able to do it while doing that and kind of get out. You know what I mean? And trying to start an agency with helping her local businesses in her area with her. I think she's starting something with her kids. Like, and they have a farm in Canada, and they're just like using the barn and like setting up a business.
Yeah. How good is that?
It's like, why not go live that dream? Linda, she's the one doing that. And it's just like, that's amazing, right? Like, that's just, and this makes me so happy to see all this stuff. And I think what I hope people get is, one of the things I hope people really get out of it is that, like, my motivation in this is to help people get to that success and that confidence level. Because I think there's a lot of folks in this space that kind of teach or do whatever, and their motivation is, I've got a business, I'm going to make money. And the fair and honest truth is, like, I'm good. Like, I do this as, like, if I didn't have a job, what would I do? If I didn't have a job, I would play music as often as possible. I got gigs this week. I'm playing on Friday, Wednesday, and I'm playing on Saturday.
Yeah.
Here in LA. And then the other thing is, I would do whatever I can to pass on what I enjoy doing, so that they can, develop their own income, create jobs, be competent in something, and change their life. And like, the fact that the missing key to what it took for you to take your business moving forward went from something where you didn't know how to do it and you couldn't hire anybody you could trust, to something that is an afterthought for you now. Like, that makes me feel great. Like, that I put my head on the pillow at night and I feel good about it. Like, that's my motivation. And hey, look, like, I get paid for it. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not free, but like,
but you enjoy it. I can tell you genuinely enjoy it.
I do.
I can tell you get a real kick out of it. I can tell that. Yeah.
I'll be totally honest. We went to a Dodgers game.
Yeah.
Right. So we're in the stands. Probably an hour and a half of basically 3 people asking questions and talking about it. Somebody in the row behind me and like 4 seats over asked me to shut up for about 45 minutes. I was taking Eric and Jared and this other guy, Sam from Australia, taking them through like organic growth hacking to set up like shopping and DPA ads to get cash flow through chatbots, so that they could generate revenue for their businesses, so they could do acquisition media, and like this whole thing. And like, some other dude looked at me like laughing, like, "Could you shut up?" Like, we're watching, and he was laughing. Like, it was a brutal, but like, we're outdoors at like a packed sporting event, and some guy like 10, 20, 15 feet away, like 3 rows of people are now halfway decent at direct consumer marketing. It's just like going to the Dodgers.
Do you know what? I can believe that. Yeah, I can believe it. Yeah.
It 100% happened. 100%, I promise.
I believe it. Yeah, but it's so easy to set up a business now as well, isn't it? It's so easy to set up a business. Excuse me. So
you get your Shopify store, you get a couple of assets, and make some organic social. You start to get some stuff going. You get some traffic. you build up a CRM database, you figure out sort of like what your hero product is, you get the PSM numbers together, you start running some golden bear and some decent keys, build your little one campaign you need. So taking some of your revenue, put it into there so you can start scaling your profits. And hey, look at that. Like, that's 90 days and you've got, you know, income. Like, I love it. Like, how easy is, like, I'm not saying that it's easy. I like your phrase. It's not easy. It's simple. How simple it is in today's era for literally anybody to pick up and make this kind of stuff happen for them. Like, I've seen folks, like I had this buddy Yash that was learning from me like 2 years ago in India on a smartphone, right? Like on a phone. He got jobs working like $50 a month running ads for like US companies. Like agencies would charge $2,000 for what this guy was doing on his phone. And $50 a month for him was great money, right? And like 6-9 months later, he was making like $5,000-$10,000, bought a laptop, bought a house for his family.
Oh, wow. Oh, isn't that fantastic?
Moved like 3 generations into a house. And it's funny now, whenever I see videos, he has a door in the back of his room. And like his videos start with him shutting the door and then he starts talking to you. And it's just like, that means so much. And like, get a smartphone. Like, not like a Kyocera or something, like not even an iPhone, not a Google Pixel, nothing fancy. And that guy did it. And right, and you're coming in here as somebody with no digital background and you're doing it. And I feel just like the fact that literally anybody with a good idea, the democratization and access to quitting your job, being your own boss, and making that real income to provide for your family and change your life, like, that is just so amazing to me. And if I can spend my days helping people figure out a missing piece to that, then I'll do that every day of the week. Like, it feels great. I love it.
I think you only really need one thing to make it work. And that one thing is the determination to put in some effort to make it work.
I like how you put it, because I call it, I might use a slightly more objective offense. Like I call it, like you need to have to give a fuck. You know,
you need to give at least one. Yeah.
If you got it, nothing's gonna stop you.
You're prepared to do some work. That's all you need. You just need to be prepared to learn. So it's that straightforward. Yeah, it is.
Well, I love it.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I just found the content of the course really interesting as well, you know, and I've enjoyed the whole thing and our little chats.
Our little chats have been great. You always made me laugh. It was always a great opportunity to chat with you. Like, I loved it. Don't get me, like, it's always been fun.
It's always fun.
And you know, the fun thing is too with the program, like we're continually adding new stuff. So like last week, I haven't even made a post. I haven't even made a post in the group yet about the new stuff that just got added. Kelvin and I basically took stuff down to make workbooks for every single course. So that'll hopefully be helpful. And also for some of the folks, we do have like a private, like post-grad community that is like a step above. And we do have some folks that are in there that is great. And I'm now that I found out about this Tuesday thing, I'm going to start adding in like more and more, like, because every section, every course of the program is like 10 courses inside of the overall program. It is upwards of 4 or 5 hours if you really want to do it all. I think I'm going to double it and just like how can I just continually make this thing bigger and better and more fantastic. And so when that happens, you go in and you can let me know, like, is this any good? Do you like it? Give me some feedback. I'd love to know.
I'm happy to give you feedback. You know that.
Yeah, I do. And I love it. I love it. And it's what I can say. And what I really appreciate is folks like you and most other people have been so helpful in letting me know what it is that you would like out of this. And I feel like I've really tried to do the best I can to be responsive to that and to continually upgrade the experience, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like when you came in, I had just done those dedicated lectures for every ebook, right? And now I'm going to start building that some out more. And somebody asked for like the YouTube videos for each one of the lecture. Like, is there any YouTube videos for more information? I want it. Like, yeah, sure. Here we go. Now we have the little archive section in the program for every one of the weekly chats where you can search it by topic and by minute so that you can scroll through everything that you want. And what I love is I have so many of you that are also entrepreneurial, that are so motivated. The feedback I get from you all on like, please do this and it would help me.
Yeah.
It's never like, oh, that's going to be way too difficult. It's always like, oh, sure. Like,
yeah. And more. Please
give
me something else. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, Jared literally sat on my back porch with me for like an hour, giving me like a wish list of stuff. I'm like, okay, I think we can start to knock some of this stuff out. Let's do it. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, Lesley, I really appreciate it. I'd love to end this with just like, if there's anything that you'd like promote or any place you want people to find you or any businesses that you have, just anything that I really appreciate this time. And I'd love to give you the last word and the ability to just, if there's anything that you'd like to say, anything you'd like to give somebody, any advice, any help, anything you want to promote, just, I'd love to leave this with you kind of having that unfettered opportunity to just say whatever it is that you want and take us out.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So, I would just say to anybody who has maybe seen your YouTubes or things you post on Instagram or Twitter, and it's like that, yeah. Maybe just, if people are able to just book a call with you, because I'm like, maybe just book a call and have a chat and find out a little bit more before dismissing anything. Because I think it's worth having a more detailed one-to-one chat, and if you explain to Charlie what you're going to get out of it, he'll be quite honest with you, if you can get those things or not. So I'm launching my business at the end of the month, and I'll tell you what we'll do, Charlie. We can have a follow-up, and I can let you know all these learnings, because basically the learnings will be right from the beginning and done properly, not like with my last business. So I could probably give some more insights I've implemented it from scratch on a brand new business. This is what went really well. This is how it went. This is how I tackle this problem. And I could do that. Yeah, that might be quite interesting, mightn't it?
Oh, I think that would be fantastic. We got to do something maybe 90 days, 6 months.
Yeah, 90 days. Yeah.
I love it because that's all you really need, just to see if like you get this thing set up, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's just like, okay, great. This is step one. We could follow through. We could make a whole thing out of it. I think it'd be great for people to get to see, you know, Miss Corporate now gone serial entrepreneur. She's her own boss. She's quit her job. She's on her second business.
Yeah.
And like how she's making that work again. Like, and what I love is, it doesn't mean you got lucky the first time. This is going to be a demonstration of how it's a system and a process for repeatable, scalable results that's easy, or that's simple, not easy, simple.
Simple.
It takes work.
Yeah, straightforward.
And you're going to fail, and there's going to be stress and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it is simple. And I think that's what makes it best.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And that's what gives you the confidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
I love it.
Really chill about it. Yeah.
I love it, Lesley. Is there anything else you like? If you want to, I don't know if people want to reach out to you. I think I tagged you.
Yeah, if people want to or want to, ask me questions, I think you can just DM me. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. It's just Lesley Bell, Lesley_Bell, I think.
I think it's, and on Twitter it's Bell99 Lesley, right?
Is it Bell Lesley 99? Yeah. No, I'm more than happy to answer. If anyone's got any questions, I'm more than happy. Yeah.
Let's see. It's Bell. I'm going to drop it in here.
Do it. Yeah.
And then we'll just take it out with this. Boom.
Yay,
there you go. That's you on
me,
Twitter.
Bell99 Lesley. I didn't actually know that. I do now. Jesus, you learn so much. You learn so much, Charlie. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I love it.
Lesley, that's me. Yeah.
Well, Lesley.
Any questions if anybody's got, but secretly, well, actually, what's this? I'm happy to answer that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it'd be great too, because there's a lot of women out there that I think would really appreciate being able to talk to somebody that's not like some alpha male, like somebody that actually represents more of them.
Yeah,
right? And
that's really important. Yeah, because a lot of new businesses, from everything I've seen, it's always kind of guys in their early 20s. You know, there's nothing wrong with guys in their early 20s, but it's just that that's not the whole demographic of who wants to run a business. So
yeah,
if there are maybe any women out there, or maybe any women who are working part-time out there, any mums out there, any single parents, because that's me, by the way, out there, then, you know, feel free to reach out. You've got my Twitter. So, you know, ask the question. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Well, with that being said, Lesley, I really appreciate it. I don't want to take too much of your time. I think we've been on for about 15 minutes. This has been excellent. I'm excited. I think we should totally do something, you know, 90 days from now, August, we're going to be coming right up to the prep of Black Friday. And I think it'd be amazing to see what that looks like.
I'm writing that down. Yeah.
I just really appreciate it. And it's always fun to chat with you. And I guess I'll see you later. Maybe I'll see you later this week. And
you'll see me soon. You'll see me soon. Yeah,
we see each other every week, even though you finished months ago. That's the way it works. Yeah, Lesley, I really appreciate it. So I'll talk to you later, and you take care of yourself.
Take care, babe. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.